So, what some of you may or may not know is that I do, amongst other things, as of episode 3, really, almost entirely traditional. I scan in the good old paper, pencil, effort, lots of stuff, and I put things together, I color it up, and I think episode 3 I had a few digitally drawn backgrounds, but definitely after 4, all at least all the animation was traditional. It's something that I really enjoy, and I wanted to give a little bit of background, I guess, as to how I kind of started doing that and how you could maybe do that too, if it's something that you want to do. Because after episode 2 took forever. Uh, it was all digital, just like episode 1, and it was kind of like after that I was like, I'm really tired of looking at screens. Like, I don't like looking at them so often. I'm gonna do it traditional, and so I was like, how do I do it traditional? How do I go about doing this? And you look online and you see those animation tables, and they're so expensive. They're so great. They're so pretty. They're so functional. But yeah, it's kind of like, okay, well, how can I do a DIY thing? I don't have like a woodcut or anything. Even the materials can be really, really costly. What can I do? So it was an interesting journey until the setup that I have today, which I love. But here are the ways, the steps that kind of went into that. So I started out and I was like, okay, so I want to do traditional animation. Well, how can I? One of the most important things is to keep those papers together. Make sure that they're not sliding around so that if you're drawing over the drawing, you can see it. Um, oh gosh, I just remembered some things that I forgot. uh, so one of the things that I actually did was put a lamp underneath one of those plastic boxes as kind of like a makeshift light table. I'd completely forgotten about that until now. And that was kind of my light table per se. And then I put my papers on top of it and did it that way. I tried stapling. That lasted about 2 seconds. That was not a good idea, but I tried it. And then I tried those binder clips, not strong enough. Papers were always sliding around. Then I actually settled on folders for a while, actually. A portion of episode 3's animation, like the first, I don't know, 2 scenes or something, is done with a folder, if you can believe it. And I'm talking those 3-prong folders. Especially the old ones. For some reason, the new ones are like super weak and the little prongs were like breaking all the time. But yeah, I would put the paper in there and I would secure it, and that's how I would do it. At that point, my brother had a light table. Old, big, clunky, very usable though, light table that he had gotten from another friend. And so it's like third or fourth hand used or whatever, but it works great and I still use it actually. So I'd put the folder on top of it and I would do my animation that way. And I used that for quite a while. After about the 6th folder I had broken all the prongs with, I was like, okay, maybe I need to do it a different way. Maybe I need to do this something different. For a while I just kind of went rogue and I just stacked the paper on top of it and just did 2 sheets at a time. Drawing only the very next frame. I think that's pretty much how I did Mr. S in episode 3, which was really fun. So yeah, I was like, okay. But then as I wanted to do a different animation and I was kind of changing, I was making sure posture was good. Posture is important, by the way. It's really, really important. Make sure you're watching that. And I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? So I tried tape. That went about as well as you could probably expect. Like that washi tape or whatever. So yeah, that didn't quite work either. And about the, I don't know, 2,000th time, I'm complaining about my animation setup to my mom. And she looks up some things on her phone and she puts her phone down and she's like, I have some ideas. And they're gold. My mom is really good at DIY ideas. She is just a genius when it comes to things like that, and she is the mastermind behind the current setup that I use. So, with all of that in mind, that was the journey to this setup, and I love this setup. And but I wanted to bring up the other ones because it's kind of like if you're not really sure if you want to do traditional animation, those are some ways that you can do like for super, super like extremely cheap. See if you like it. See if you want to do it. And so this is going to cost, well, I guess minus the light table, but if you have to get a light table, I would say 50 to 60 bucks. That's about it. And if you already have a light table, depending what kind it is, it could be far less than that. But as far as the extra materials, I spent like $5 on them. So yeah, pretty cool. And so what it is. So now keep in mind, the light table that I have is big, clunky. Your picture of it. It's great though. Actually, in the research that I was doing for this video to see if like it could still be purchased, well, yes, it can still be purchased. It's on eBay, $20-$30 if you want to go to eBay. I think it's more like 60, but that might be for new or something on Amazon when I was looking at it. Yeah, there's a bunch of cheaper light tables. They're not as big. I personally have not used them. But you can definitely make those work as well. Now, the big thing that I really like with mine, oh right, in the research, I found that mine has a stand, but it doesn't. So I don't know what happened to that, but I was looking at pictures, I'm like, it has a stand? So yeah, okay. But yeah, I guess it at one point had a metal stand, but it's gone now. So anywho, so the big thing with the one that I use is that it has a right angle. This right angle is super important for the setup. So what you're going to need if you want to use this or whatever and it be all fancy and fantastic to work with. It's so quick to work with. I love it. And it's multifunctional too. Those are the best things in the world. Is you're going to want to go to the hardware store, wherever you choose, and grab your $5 literally. Walk in and you're going to want what's called the shelf holders, okay? And they have like pegs on them. Yeah, like pegs holes, like in animation. But what they are is, and then they're L-shaped. So because of that, you can put it on the light table. And it fits perfectly, and then all you have to do is just duct tape it. That's where like $3 of that came from, because these shelf holders are really, really, really cheap. We're talking under $1 if I remember correctly. 50 cents, 25 cents, I don't know. They were really, really, really inexpensive. And then to help make sure that the papers actually stay in place, you're going to need O-rings, and O-rings are great. And I remember when my mom and I went to the hardware store to get these things, and we were just so excited when we found O-rings that like fit the pegs, and it was great. We were just freaking out in the aisle. It was phenomenal. So yeah, so that's kind of the basics, and then we didn't have duct tape, so we got duct tape. So duct tape, those O-rings, and the shelf things. Forgetting the word. But those things, that's all I use for my setup pretty much. And then, of course, the light table. So then all you gotta do is just slap on that duct tape. I would recommend maybe having someone to help with that part. Because you want to make sure that the paper, and by the way, the paper that I use is literally just printer paper. I buy it in bulk. I mean, it's super cheap. I hole punch it, and that's about it. Nothing fancy with that. And put the paper on it, and then make sure that you kind of mark or have someone again help you to make sure that you're putting them in the right place. Duct tape them on. I found that putting individual pieces of duct tape worked a lot better than doing a one long piece of it. It seems to hold up better. And then that's it. And make sure you put the O-rings in something safe, because they're small and I have definitely almost lost a few while working. But yeah, that's pretty much all I use. And then to kind of tilt it, a lot of times drawing, you work better from a tilt, otherwise it kind of messes with your perspective. I literally just balance it on top of an old medical, uh, like textbook or something. I'm serious. Um, and like a tub of journals that I use, like, and then propped that up against yeah, this is super inexpensive setup. And then prop that up against a box that is so heavy because it has like at least an episode, I don't know, almost a full episode's worth of like animation in it. It's a really heavy box. Yeah, so that's pretty much my setup. As far as like any other materials that I use, 2B pencils, the dark pencils are really great so that it shows up when it scans. I use the Kohl Erase, the red ones, but you could also use the blue ones pretty easily. Erasers, standard stuff. Effort. Hard thinking about animation all the time, or most of the time. And then the scanner, which I might actually do another video about, just about the scanner I use and the settings that I use. Because it's super helpful because I almost have to do no adjustments when I then put it into my animation program, which I might also make a video about, or maybe include it with the scanner stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much my setup. It's really easy. Like I said, there are other options if you don't want to do all that stuff. You could just, I mean, hey, Flipbooks. Give it a try, see if you like it, and then if you do, maybe do a more kind of a permanent type of setup, like I decided to do, and like I said, I really love it, and it's made animating traditionally a lot faster, because I'm not messing with folders, I'm not even messing with like doing one paper at a time, or staplers. I can't believe I tried staplers. But yeah, it's really nice. So the main reason I wanted to make this video was so that if other people did want to try traditional animation, you could kind of see the options, and I hope that maybe this helps someone who maybe might have been about as lost as I was as far as, well, how do I do it? How do I figure out these things? And I might do another video that's kind of a bit more in depth, especially as far as like, okay, how do I transfer this to digital? Like, how do I get these things in order, layers, like, and again, these are just kind of tips, as far as things that I've learned. They're not necessarily, like, oh, this is the only way to do it or whatever. These are just things that have helped me personally and that I hope maybe help some other people. So, yeah, I mean, I ramble a lot, but I hope that you're able to get some information from this and just see that there are all sorts of ways that you can figure out how to do these things. You don't necessarily need a hundreds of dollars type of setup, especially if you're just kind of trying something. Those setups are nice. I will say that the thing that I cannot do with mine personally, but who knows, maybe one day me or my mom will figure it out. But I can't like turn it like an animator's desk. I can't do that. I haven't really had a huge issue with that, so it's not terribly important to me at the moment. But yeah, there are all sorts of things that you can do. You just kind of look around and see what you can do. What materials can you repurpose and make into something that's going to really work for you and the things that you do. Because you never know what just the things that are lying around your house might be able to help, or at a hardware store. So yeah. But yeah, go ahead. Go give traditional animation a try. I find it really fun, and it's really cool. And there are ways to do it. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I thank you for listening to this big ramble about my journey with traditional animation. And I hope to learn more as things go on. So have a lovely day, and see you next time. Bye.